Oh my god.
I think I agree with that. I think Paul should have checked the turn with a set of nines. So have you commented on a cash game before, Tatiana?
Not a cash game. I've commentated on tournaments before, but not cash games.
Oh, yeah?
No, especially, I'm still trying to learn short deck because...
Well, this is full deck, though.
Well,
so.
I know. I just learned that one properly.
River?
All right, I'll give you some short deck tips. If you have a 6 in your hand,
Okay, if you go
fold. If you've got 2 cards that are touching, that aren't like 6-7, meaning if you have 10-9, Jack-10, don't fold.
Okay, all right.
And if you have an open-ended straight draw, really don't fold. Probably just keep raising.
Well, those are good tips.
Those are my basic short deck tips. It's a little more complicated, but actually will get you a little bit of a ways. Just
See,
those.
My Hold'em full deck tips McLean gave me were, you're a girl, just play pictures and you're good.
I think that's probably pretty good good advice.
And he was like, if you're short, then you can shove, like 10s, 9s, but only if you're short.
Has he started playing short deck yet?
No, he hasn't. I think he's for sure going to start now.
Yeah, I think you're going to go back and convince him to, right, after this?
He's
these few
probably,
days?
he's probably going to like it.
Isn't there 4-card straight in the river too?
It
You should
sounds like a
study
lot
up
of
and you
fun.
can go back and give him some tips, you know?
No, I'm just going to rewind this and write down what you said, and I'm going to go and be so smart about it. I'm like, I think this is what you should do. Trust me. I've been playing for a week. I know everybody seems so excited about it, so...
It's a fun game.
Or maybe it's a bluff. I mean, if you have 6-5 flush, I'm like, oh.
Yeah, I was thinking he had like
Okay, I don't know what Paul is thinking here. He has he has Jack high. He has no backdoor flush draw.
But he's in a pot with Elton, so maybe he thinks he's on the roll.
Yeah, I think he might, but still, it's hard to play when you have absolutely nothing, no hope, and especially on a board that's this
I know,
drawy.
right?
It's a little different if the board is, Jack, Jack 4 or something. But here, the problem is when you call the flop, there's a lot of bad hands someone could have, right? Paul could have just 6-8 or something like this, and so it makes sense that Elton sometimes is gonna trap him, meaning check call an ace, something like that.
Make full house.
I don't really like this hand by Jack 10, and actually in this case Elton has the nuts and is trapping him by checking. But then once he raises, of course, the hand ends.
Yeah.
But I think this was a mistake by Paul to call the flop.
Paul, VIP.
And Rikau is kneeling Paul for shoving his set of 9s.
I
think I agree with Rikau there.
A year.
Your natural talent.
Natural talent.
Boys, hard worker. I'm hard worker, you.
I think there's an argument that when Paul bets that big on the turn, if Elton had a flush, he would have shoved the turn. Just the way they play against each other, I think that's very true. But still, a river 8, I don't like Paul's shove. I think it.
It's interesting, but yeah, I wonder if he would play differently if it was a different player.
Oh, very much so. I think
Yeah.
Paul would have played that hand, or at least should have played that hand different, and I think he would have.
Yeah.
He seems really funny.
He is.
But we don't know he upset.
Yeah.
You check the best. Check raise.
When did
Sometimes
poker,
oh, sorry, go ahead.
when did poker get into China? Because I feel like that's such a Western game.
Well, Ivy and I think John Jawanda were all there in about 2009, and there were some big games in Macau. And so this just now was a very funny move by Paul. He got out the 12,000.
Weak builder. I'm always shifting.
He got out the 12,000 to call Rikau's raise. Looked like he was about to call, and then put it back and raised to 50,000.
His stack looks nice.
And so it looked like he must not have a good hand, but obviously Paul's sophisticated enough to sometimes do this with a good hand.
So he's all over the place.
Yeah, but But I think still, you know, Rico probably would have guessed that that Paul didn't have as good a hand as normal. He could be tricking him and stuff, but Rico had Jack 3 suited, so it's hard to fight out of position with that hand.
Put your money in, huh?
You were saying you were in Macau in 09?
I think it was 2009 that we first went there.
Yeah.
And were they already playing it?
They were playing full deck, yeah, regular Hold'em. Short deck only started last,
Yeah.
I don't know, 2 years or something.
I just
3
wonder.
years.
I never thought that poker was that popular in Asia.
Yeah, no, it was popular then and it's been growing
You and
since.
Gus back, being visual, like people can follow you again. Everybody's loving that. Getting to play enormous stakes.
This is the year of poker.
This is a great year, man. Everybody's playing,
Everybody,
playing the biggest cash game.
your ball.
And yeah, so Paul is pretty funny. He had just said this line, if Auntie had balls, she'd be uncle. And
Oh,
he's-
we say that in Croatia for a grandmother.
Oh, really?
Yep, then
He's
she would be a
actually-
grandfather.
He's gotten me on this one quite good before. I forget the specifics, but we're in some huge game I was playing. And I don't know if I called or bluffed or what, but in the spot where I really was thinking it through, thought it made sense, and lost the pot. And I was like, oh, but what if? What if? He's like, oh yeah? What if? What if? If Auntie had balls, she would be uncle. Right when I
Yep.
had lost this huge pot, and
Oh,
I
yeah.
was just sitting there sad. He's very funny to have at the poker table.
Oh
He's
yeah,
very-
we have the exact same one, but we say if grandma had it, she would be a grandpa. And we don't use the testicles; we use the other part.
Ah. Paul's really trying to be in there gambling. He's got the Jack 8
Yeah.
and trying to think of how to do something on a Queen 6 3-2 board with 2 flush draws. And I think him checking was a smart move there. There's just a lot of draws out there. He doesn't have any of them, no pair. Now, I think if he wants to bluff the river, I think this is actually a pretty good card to bet. It's very possible Paul could have a King 10, something like this here. He could bet 50,000, and I think Jason will consider folding and then probably end up calling him. I also wouldn't be very surprised if Jason folded here. Paul has a somewhat tight image, but I think Jason's probably noticed that Paul's drinking a few Macallans and might be a little more eager to call him here.
I see.
What's your bet? You think Jason's calling or no? It's close. It's right about 50-50, I think.
Yeah, he might.
I'm voting...
You're voting no. I'm voting
I
yes.
was about to say I'm voting fold, but that would have been wrong. Then I saw him pick
I
up the
got
46,000.
sick reads.
That's bluff.
Paul's very animated.
I beat 5-7.
Yeah, when Paul betted, I was thinking Jason would call a bit of the time, and then he had that look in his face like he was about to fold, I thought, but I read it wrong.
Also,
Yeah.
you can see 30 minutes later.
I couldn't beat any value bet, but I could beat 5-7.
So G.
Tochi means bluff in Chinese. I think it actually is steal your chicken or something like that. I don't know the literal translation.
I love these sayings. They're good.
Yeah, but it's one of the
I'm not
first
looking.
words
I'm not
I
having
learned, and then I
anybody
learned
look for me.
the
I mean,
phrases
people are looking, but I'm not
Tochi
gonna-
Shenko and Tochi
I'll see it
Puchenko.
later.
I don't think.
Sounds Russian.
And yeah, I'm probably pronouncing it terribly. My pronunciation is really bad.
So what does it mean?
But Tochi Shenko is bluff successful or steal
Okay.
the chicken
You stole the
successful,
chicken?
something like that. Yeah, I don't know the exact translation, but something like that.
I had a pair of
And
sixes,
the one I know a little
or a pair
better
of eights
is
with a
Tochi
six of spades in my hand.
Puchenko, and that's
Or
bluff
pair.
no good.
You
And that's
did
because
not
I've
steal
said that one a lot. Okay, and here Rico raises 12,000 with ace queen, which is very normal. Elton has 10-2 suited, which most people would fold, and I think he
But not
probably
Elton.
should fold.
Oh heck.
But it's actually kind of a fun hand to get in there gambling with. I don't think it's losing that much. He's on the belt button. I would probably throw in the money here sometimes also. And I think this is one of those reasons why Elton's pretty good for the game, because he's finding ways to gamble, not just trying to sit there folding every hand. Now, this would be a hard one for him to find a way to gamble on the turn here. But he did throw it away. Do you know much about Rico?
No, I don't.
Rikao has a reputation for always finding a way to bluff. Even when you can't imagine how he could be bluffing
He
in a
steals
certain
the chicken.
spot, he finds a way to bluff. He steals the chicken. And so because of this, when he has a good hand, sometimes it's very hard to
Never
fold to
seen you get
him.
angry.
Yeah, because maybe I have some money to burn.
Oh, you only
think
have
I'm
10
heading
more
in there in 10
It's
minutes,
10
right?
minutes, yeah. Maybe we'll get to see some action before then.
Yeah.
Oh, spoiler here, huh?
Teaser. Like I said, I was not the UPS woman at the UPS that came and yelled the end of Star Wars on the day it premiered.
How does that even happen?
She just walked in. McLean was there, I don't know, doing something.
Did he say something about Star Wars to her?
No, she just literally walked in, she said it, and then she ran out. She was like, I guess upset with the clerk or something, and so she just walked in, she said the words, she ran out, he called me, he almost cried. And then Jason Les, who's my best friend, he already saw it, so I called him and I was like, hey dude, did this happen or not? And he goes, well, you can't tell him, because if you tell it didn't, it's a spoiler. If you tell it did, it's a spoiler. So it's pretty bad.
That's
That
pretty
is
bad.
mean.
That is quite mean. Okay, so this should be a pretty big hand. So Jason has, an overpair. Not a huge one, just a pair of nines, but I would think he should be pretty happy with this 2-5-6 flop. And Shanghai Wang has an open ender, so he's definitely very happy. This is just about as good a flop as Shanghai Wang could get.
One more whiskey?
Now, seeing as you gave some spoilers that there might be big pots,
Teasers.
I'm guessing that there might be a 9 coming at some point in this hand. And it goes check, check.
It's not a 9.
Now, a little surprised by Shanghai Wang's flop check. I mean, I'm guessing he would have been check raising if Jason bet. And once Jason checks, Shanghai is going to bet.
Why do we call him Shanghai? Is he from Shanghai?
Yes. I'm
Okay. No, he's
pretty sure
actually
that's how
from
he
LA.
got the name. Oh,
Not
no
a 9.
9.
I never said it's gonna be a 9.
No, I just was expecting a big pot.
You know
All right,
what?
and so-
Maybe there's nothing.
Shanghai Wang, if he bets the river, Jason's, I'm guessing, going to call him a lot of the time. Shanghai's a pretty aggressive player. But Shanghai might also check here, hoping to win a really big pot, where Jason might value bet if he has 2 pair. Of course, if he has a straight or a set or something, he would value bet. And even a pair of 9s, Jason, would probably think about it for a second and then check. Okay, and Shanghai does check. Jason pretty quickly checks. And I don't mind Shanghai's
Straight, right?
check there. I think if Jason had just a little bit better hand, he would have been thinking about betting it.
Now he seems upset.
Well, yeah, if he had known the hand Jason had, if he bet 60,000, I think Jason calls almost every time.
How long has Jason been playing with these guys?
I'm not sure.
Not for a long time, no?
Time.
Yeah, I haven't played with Jason that much in Asia, but Jason, I've been playing short deck lately, and Jason was playing. He only just recently got into
Oh,
short
okay,
deck,
okay.
so I don't know. The last year or two, he might have been playing a bit with them.
He want to miss
And so Shanghai Wang, I think, was about to take a break there. He had said to Paul or something. Paul was saying he wanted to miss. And then all of a sudden, straddles happened, and Shanghai Wang stayed at the table because he was happy to play bigger. Oh, everyone's drinking whiskey.
And they're putting ice in their whiskey. That is a sin.
No, a small amount. If it's just a small amount of ice, it's nice. If
It's
it's
just
too
it's
much.
supposed to just be a drop of water to open it up. That's it. Which is
What about those circular ice ball things that they put in? I like those. You don't like them?
I like them in like an old fashioned.
See, old fashions, they have something in them that I don't like. I'm not sure what. Okay, and so the graphics say 3-bet, but Ree actually just raised here because there's an 8,000 straddle. So Ree just made a normal open raise to 26,000. Paul has King 5 offsuit, so his cards should already be in the muck, and we should be on to the next hand. But maybe those McCallums are hitting him there a little bit, and he's trying to gamble. Now, I think he is in position on Ricao, so it's, not a problem to play this hand. It's okay, but he's still going to get himself in trouble some of the time here. And it would have been different if Ricao was one position over, basically. If we're playing 2,000, 4,000, 8,000 now.
Yeah.
So if Ricow had been the 4,000 and raised, that's different. As the 2,000, Ricow's got a bit of a tighter hand. It's a little harder for Paul to fight. And now Ricow bets a very small bet of 20,000 here, and Paul's thinking of going a little crazy, and it's not going to work out well for him if he does.
No chickens will be stolen.
That is for sure. It is almost impossible to see Paul winning this hand. I think it would need to come either a queen or a 10 and, jack or 10 and a 9 for him to have any chance.
And it might.
Oh, Tatiana, come on.
Hey, it's poker. Anything can happen.
Quite a big pot of 220,000 here. Oh, and Ricow with the accurate read, trying to bluff on TV, Paul. He is right. That is what Paul's trying to do.
I am noticing a lot more animation and talking while they're playing.
I think that's partly because everyone's friendly, and then I think it's also related to, everyone drinking, playing a TV cash game that it's people that we play against a lot. So you kind of, if someone's coming in staring at you, not giving anything up, a lot of times you don't want to give anything back to them, right?
Yeah.
Whereas when everyone's more relaxed, it can breed this kind of interesting game.
Yeah, but it's good energy, good vibes, so you can have fun too. I feel like, because sometimes there's games where they're just staring at each other and just quiet all the time.
Yes, and I don't really like that. Okay, and Ree bets 300 out of 220 pot, and it looks like he has it. If I was in Paul's spot, would be wanting to fold, about to fold, and then probably look over and be like, oh, it's Ricow, what can I do, and throw the money in. This is a pretty hard fold for Paul with the king here, because Ricow just finds a way to bluff, like I said.
Wow.
It's not short deck.
Ricow's overbet. If they don't have a queen, you would bet.
This would be a very, very surprising and very good fold if Paul somehow found it, but I don't expect he can. And when Ricow bets this big, I do think almost always he's either bluffing or has Paul beat, but still, it's just so hard to fold to Ricow. He bluffs so much, and when he hits a big hand, sometimes he just deserves the money.
Must be king 8.
Thank you, boss.
King, queen.
And so what Paul was hoping for here is that Ricow had 10 jack or 10 9 or jack 9 or something, bet the flop, Paul raised, and Ricow wanted to call, and that's definitely possible. I think it's there's an argument that Paul should have folded the river there, and I think if it was me, I'd probably be sitting there saying I should fold this, wanting to fold it, ending up calling and being mad at myself after. And I'm guessing that's how Paul's feeling right now.
But when you have a McAllen sitting next to you telling you don't do it.
That's true. And then you look over and see Ricow, and that's also telling you don't do it.
Fair enough.
Can I get a water? Still water?
So when you pop in, who are you replacing?
I'm not sure. I have no idea. But I'll just go out there and see.
Don't go toilet.
Are we going to see this game happen tomorrow again?
I think tomorrow is the short deck cash game.
Cash game.
And so
Oh,
that should be really interesting.
that should be fun.
I'm losing, I just travel.
So in short deck, when you play cash game like this, do you get almost every hand? Is there some kind of action? Is it like way more action?
That's what you said to me.
So right here, like Shanghai Wong has Jack 4 offs, right? In No Limit Hold'em,
I was like, this guy.
there's a lot of hands like this that you really kind of can't play, and if you try to play them, you're losing so much.
Maybe something to it.
In short deck, you can play tighter, and a lot of people do, but it's kind of if you're choosing to gamble, it's not as bad. And so that's why sometimes you'll see games where a huge percentage of the hands, everyone's in there gambling. Whereas in No Limit Hold'em, if you see that, usually someone's losing really, really big because they're going to have hands like Jack 4 offsuit, and how can they make any money?
Somehow it works.
So I think I should get out of here, right? I'm about to be up. Is that
You're
right?
about to be up. I notified Randy. He should be here any moment.
Yeah, one
All right.
And yeah, if you need to go, it was a pleasure to.
I hope you or Randy or someone is commenting as I drag a bunch of big pots as opposed to losing them.
Hey, that'd be great.
Just checking.
Yeah, here's Randy.
Was it 16?
I don't see
It's
it.
not going
I do see
the way
it.
you want.
No, it's 80.
Tatiana's over here giving spoilers, Randy.
Teasers. Teasers. They are teasers. All right, thank you.
So how much is that?
60,000.
You want triple straddle?
Triple straddle?
Euro.
I'm alright.
Yeah. Triple straddle. You want to object?
No,
Cannot.
no object.
Cannot object.
Ace is on the bottom.
Wow, Patrick, you're so lucky.
This is a good one for some.
Easy game.
Now it gets interesting.
All right, guys, this is me, Randy, Lou, Nanonoko. We're back.
Double straddle.
Well, just me by myself, actually. So, it looks like we're playing a straddle. I didn't catch if this was going to be on full time or just temporarily. Heard Tom Dwan was giving some good commentary.
So I can go toilet.
Single raised pot for 44,000 euros.
I'm so stupid. Always give money to rich couple.
How many chips you have in the economy?
1.6.
And 9 players left, right? How many left?
9, yeah.
9 left. What's the average?
All right, so this is a
1.5.
re-raise pot here. I'm just trying to get in touch with
63.
what is going on ever since I left. So looks like Elton's got king 3, but
Just by the feel,
Shanghai
feels like 1.
Wong is betting with his pair, bottom pair.
Yeah.
No kicker. Okay.
I had 800 earlier today.
I had, yeah, around that at least twice and just busted 3 bullets.
And I won
So
one hand.
Elton here with king 3
Yeah, they move quick in that tournament. I mean,
offsuit. Really doesn't have anything. I guess he's considering making a play at this.
Oh, with these players, things
for sure.
Seems
fast.
seems a little bit
Yeah,
ambitious.
I like the structure of this
But I guess
one, though.
the game is so
structure looks
splashy. I mean, I didn't follow this action completely, so it's hard for me to give you accurate information.
good. Are you going to try to play the short deck tomorrow? It's really fun.
Yes,
You should get in there and
No,
try to play it. It's really
I
fun.
might play the short deck cast
So it looks
game
like
later.
Elton
Yeah.
raised to 133,000. This is pretty sick. I wonder if
Played tons of games.
Shanghai Wong is actually going to call here with 6-5. It just seems like two guys duking it out in like a home game, but we're in for €1 million
The
instead.
way that you bet is really similar to PLO in a lot of ways, except it's no limit, so you can just shove. But like in a lot of spots where you can't shove, you kind of choose the same hands that you would use in PLO rather than a no limit to bet with.
Yeah, this is
People
insane
bet
pot.
More like a bigger bets, like a pot size bets in this game.
You face big bets a lot.
Sometimes.
So apparently it's been a triple straddle pot. That's what I'm being told by the chat.
Just equities run super close together.
It seems
always.
insane.
You get there a lot. Like open enders are really sweet.
All I know is just
Yeah, sounds
two
like-
guys
they're
just
really
going to
good.
war. One has king 3 high. Doesn't mean has runner
Set is awesome.
runner
Set is
3
awesome.
high
Never
flush
full
draw.
the bottom set
Another
bet
guy
in
has
this game.
No.
bottom
Don't
pair,
full sets.
Even if
I mean,
backdoor
it really
straight
depends.
draw.
Yeah, I mean, if
I
you
guess
really
weak
specific.
backdoors is
Yeah,
the way to
really
play this
special.
hand.
I mean, even normal no limit, I don't for
2K, 4K,
Yeah.
8K, 16K.
Yeah,
He's gonna give this
makes
pot
sense,
up.
makes
So
sense.
Elton's saying, showing you
You can do it on
how
the
to
river
spend
in that game, but you can't really do it on the
133,000
flop.
euros with king 3 high to win 108,000 euros.
Yeah.
So my name is Randy Lou, Nanonoko. I'm going to try to give you the best insight into this game. Now, I got to say, the way these guys are playing is just quite erratic. So we're going to have to try to adjust to that. Rui Kao is the big winner right now, 344,000 euros in profit. Shanghai Wong is currently the loser with 338,000, but still has a massive amount of chips to play with. Phil Ivey's down and ST Wong is down 2. Patrick, slight winner of 189,000 euros.
games where you can kind of.
Yeah, yes.
I like when you can bluff with no blockers. Go with the spot.
All right, so
Yeah, for sure.
I'm joined back by Gabe Pogorski.
Hello, ni hao.
Yeah, ni hao. As you do know some Chinese.
Yeah, yi tian tian. Do you speak any, or how do you?
I speak a little bit just because I am Chinese.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So this straddle game now, 2K, 4K, 8K.
Oh, I hadn't noticed.
I'm not. I just got here too, and there was just an insane pot that just happened. I don't know if you missed it. You would have loved it.
The only thing I saw was they're all drinking Macallan.
Yeah.
I know that's the only thing different I noticed. But yeah, what happened in the hand? Who?
I missed it, but apparently it was a triple straddle pot. So 2K, 4K, 8K, 16K.
6, 9, 10.
And Elton had King 3 offsuit. He raised. Shanghai Wong defended 6-5 offsuit. I think he let out 50K on Ace 7-6 flush draw. Elton made 133,000, and then Shanghai Wong tank folded.
Oh,
Yeah, it
laid
just
it down.
So-
That's so sick. They're playing sky high, and they just can't help but make it bigger and bigger.
yeah. So Shanghai Wong just raised and stole those blinds.
Okay, so who's most likely to be on tilt from losing and drinking right now? Elton stuck a little bit from the set.
Yeah, Elton's stuck from the set, but
I
he's
stuck
been
a little bit.
splashing.
Ace 6, 7, 8, 9.
Shanghai Wong's been splashing.
Let's just say there's
I
ace,
haven't
king,
seen
spade.
all of the
You got
hands,
jack,
but
queen. Flush is
Oh,
not gonna
well, I know
come too
Tom's getting in there
often.
soon.
Now you
yeah,
got like a
he's
jack,
gonna be
double,
ready to go
yeah.
basically.
Right, well, and we'll see if he spices things up a little bit.
So they are straddling to 8,000 right now. Jason Kuhn's got 8,000 euros in with 8 deuce suited.
We agreed to one round.
Gotta see a flop, Jason.
Okay.
Trip up that deuce.
I don't think
So
I
it's
agreed
gonna-
to anything, but he's still
I would like to
don't
see
know, he's
Shanghai
just
Wong
convinced
open
now.
this. I know he's gonna open it, right? It's it's a straddle pot, so he makes it 30,000.
It was cash game tournament.
Cash game tournament.
In 2 hours, gonna be.
Elton,
free straddle.
Queen 10 of diamonds, and the big blind, which is kind of the small blind since it's straddled.
Yeah, can't fold this, but
Is he going to re-raise this against Shanghai Wong? Dominating hand. He's just gonna call.
let's go.
Jason Kuhn's got to throw away his 8,000 euros.
Whoa, come on, Jason. Suited, closing the action.
My favorite player.
Put some hearts out there. Make him regret. All right, well.
Well, that Shanghai Wong's out flop Elton. See if he c-bets or check. I think he's going to c-bet just the way he's touching his chips. But both options probably fine, right?
Right, that's the only clue for him is that he's grabbing the chips because I don't know what he's thinking. I just know he's got moves.
Yeah. Well, 44,000. Elton's got a lot of moves too, actually. But this does not connect at all. But I feel like he just wants to play every pot with him.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard with Queen 10 work it out here.
Yeah, but he didn't insta-fold. Most people insta-fold here, right? Why is he interested?
There's kind of no good options he can do.
Okay, he's gonna fold. Yeah, you just want at least a backdoor diamond, right?
Right, or back, yeah, something where you can
They're having a good game there. Everyone's laughing.
hit. Right, that McAllen's starting to get in their veins. I guess everyone has a glass. I saw like 4 people drinking.
Yeah, they were all cheering. It's all gone. It was so fast.
Yeah, maybe some of the pros just made it look like they're drinking though.
Voluntary
We'll see.
I think Makita has a bunch.
Pilates pretty quiet at the
Not
table.
voluntary.
We're trying to get Rui Cao to double straddle.
My parents are watching. I want them to think I'm a degenerate gambler. Yeah.
Wow, what a hand to pick up in the straddle. Pocket jacks.
Hey,
Wow,
good-
Antonius folded King 10 offsuit. A bit loose. I'm a bit tight, eh? Straddled
Yeah,
game.
his haircut, he's repping like he's a loose aggressive player, but
Playing the opposite.
yeah, he's trying to trick
You
everyone.
don't want to be a fool on TV.
Well, Ivy's going to raise a 20,000.
Already a fool.
Almost certain ST is going to 3-bet
I
here.
laugh a lot here. Really, I'm not joking.
And there's zero chance Ivy's going to fold ace-8 suited on the button, right? In a straddled game.
I'm not sure he'll 3-bet this. Well, now
I'm sure he's 3-betting this.
Alright.
When you get the straddle hand, you know, like everyone's laughing. You want to I think you get a little bit less credit.
I think it's the play to do it, but my personal read is I wasn't
That he-
sure if
right.
ST
I'm 1.3. I'm
does
winning
it.
300.
Well, he's only playing 100 big blinds effective with this straddle, but well, Ivy just snap folds. So
300.
just playing a bit. Maybe he just thinks ST is not bluffing there too much.
Yeah, he's been pretty conservative all week, Ivy. I think, from watching how he played on the
short deck game.
deck stuff, he played really conservative compared to what I know of how he plays. I've played a bunch of them last few months, and he's usually in there
Trying to win
for it.
pots.
Yeah, and he didn't play that way, so maybe all week he's just gonna let the money come to him.
I think it's okay.
Well, the money did go to him in that tournament.
Yep. Props to Phil Ivy. He worked it out. Jungle plays really well, and Phil got the win with kind of.
Did you watch that heads-up match?
I didn't watch much of it, but I know I checked in every now and then, and it felt like Ivy was just.
He played really good. Like he was grinding him out, like you're saying, like bit solid. But then because he had that image, he was able to. When he made the bluffs, they like worked really well, and then just like really just destroyed Jungle Man that match. Even though I know Jungle Man's a really good player, but just felt like Ivy had a stranglehold.
Right, Ivy had the.
He did the Ivy, you know.
He did the Ivy, he really likes winning tournaments.
Yeah.
Like when he's in there, he might try harder than you'd normally expect when it's a small tournament relative to his history.
So Paul Foy shows a 5 to everyone, trying to liven this game up.
It's pretty sick. Like the Ivy, what did he win? Like 5 million Hong Kong?
He won. I know he won 600,000 US. So you can do the math on that. So it's about a little bit more than 5 million.
4.8, 4.9, something like that. And this buy-in is more than that.
Yeah, he basically is trying to free roll this game right now. Yeah, I'm gonna free roll a cash game.
Right. Bring 250K to Montenegro, double up here, and he turned it.
Yeah, you must win the tournament to get it. It's like a satellite.
Right. It's a satellite, but this is all just a big satellite to the baccarat tables. Like.
It's a satellite to a satellite.
Right. It's just step 2.
Paul Foy has Ace Queen. Alton's saying if Ace 8 suited, it's gonna see a flop. I imagine, at least.
Is he grabbing a handful?
A lot of guys have been 3-betting these hands so far.
Boom.
So 100K roughly.
Kind of a reckless. Speaking of live tells, that's kind of a reckless way to throw it in. I would be more likely. I'd be leaning towards that he was spewing here.
Well, you are accurate right now. Paul. There's no way Paul's folding, right? Like. He's been splashing in pots lately.
I wouldn't be surprised at all 3 options.
275.
Paul's he's not really like a technical player, but I think he like reads the how do I say, like he reads the Chinese like mindset well and all the people he plays with.
He's grabbing for more chips.
He played semi-deep, no limit hold'em.
So he grabbed 2, then he grabbed like 7 of them, and now he dropped them all down.
Semi-deep, no limit hold'em.
Right, he's kind of not keeping it together. That's good.
Yeah, it's like
We're gonna play shallow poker soon.
Hey,
Let's see what he says.
he was saying they're deeper, but now we're straddling.
Collection of my favorite gamblers.
Gonna make the call.
Okay, so
position.
fake 4 bets.
Yeah, he grabbed 2 chips, then 7 chips, dropped them on, just calls. And Elton saying just flop the nuts.
I would have guessed deuce to 7.
Paul Foy's flopped the second nut flush draw, but he doesn't know he's drawing dead.
Yeah, that's pretty sick.
What's your favorite game, Phil?
Paul can't fold this flop.
Yeah, especially if he's calling this out of position, he thinks that Elton's got some garbage in his hand.
8 game.
So you wouldn't.
They're so deep though that he can't really lose too much.
Right, check. Okay, so Elton slow playing, thinks he smashed it too hard. Does Paul take a stab here with the second nut flush draw?
Yeah.
I think that was a pretty greedy checker. I don't know what the word is, but when Paul like fake 4 bets.
Right, you think he's got like maybe like jacks or like something that can at least call one little bet.
Right, he doesn't have just no hand where he fake 4 bet then called. So he should.
Yeah, it is. You?
Like you would prefer to bet like 50K than check.
Right, yeah. Elton's just going for a massive trick. It's hard to know what their history is too, where maybe they've played they have some dynamic between them that it's hard for us to read into.
It's super fun.
Well, Paul's actually in a tricky spot.
He's
got a good draw from his point of view.
Right, but it'd be surprising for Elton to fold.
Right, like who checks back this flop to fold the turn?
Like four-handed PLO.
Right, like jacks will always see a turn and queens. So if you're betting this turn, I guess you should have the intention to bet the river, but that would be awful in this situation.
Right. I think it seems like he'd be served just by check calling. He might have the best hand if
Occasionally.
some goofy hand that Elton has a spade that wanted to check behind. Like if he had Jack 10 offsuit with a spade or something.
Maybe like an ace 10 with a 10 of spades.
I like games for
Right, but Elton shouldn't fold to his bet.
It's not so big.
Elton's not just 3-betting ace queen of like diamonds and then checking behind. He's going to try to win the pot.
So Paul Fall does decide to bet 140,000, about 75% of the pot. A no-brainer call for Elton, in my opinion. Just seems like raising gets the bluffs to fold.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. And it doesn't like represent anything. Check behind, raise, like you're.
Yeah, you want to represent a hand like jacks, queens, so that your opponent can put like a 300K bet on the river and then you win those chips. So nice call.
Damn. Yeah, a little bit of that big bet mix.
There was a king.
So that card, it makes it harder for Paul to bluff him off jacks on that card.
Yeah, I would think that's a bad card for Paul to try to keep betting, because some people get stubborn with like queens and jacks here, right, and call bet.
Also, it's reasonable that Elton can have ace king.
Yeah, maybe he's like, oh, I don't want to get check raise.
Right, I know that straddle makes it so they're not super deep, but at the same time, with the money and the flop texture, maybe Elton wouldn't want to just bet call ace king there.
Right, occasionally he bets ace king and sometimes he checks it back.
Right, so
maybe he has king queen, king jack, right? Very possible.
Yeah.
So Paul here trying to decide what his opponent has. He checks and gives it up.
Yeah, on this texture, I think it's hard for if he wanted to make some suicide bluff where he just rips it in. He can't rep you can't rep a king by doing that, because I think there's so many better hands.
Yep.
So it makes sense just to give up.
So Elton here, should he be going for a small bet or a big bet with the practical nuts right now? Like, what hands are you targeting?
He might just know Paul has nothing.
So he needs to bet like 100K and hope for a random check raise?
Yeah, because it doesn't make sense for Paul to. I mean, Paul could check a king, but I would think so many people would bet it here that Elton has to think that Paul can't have something that's going to put 400,000 euros.
And my logic is, say Elton wanted to bet like 500K pot, right? If he had a big hand, wouldn't he just bet the flop or turn rather than all of a sudden take... Oh, if he had a bluff, why would he all of a sudden wait for the river to start making a massive bluff, right? Wouldn't you bet the flop or turn usually?
Maybe he had like 8-7 offsuit or something, but even that's
He's got a lot of showdown value.
Yeah.
So he's going for the big bet, 360K, looks like. Paul here, raise queen high.
Paul not gonna snap forward. He's got to think about it.
I always want to make sure. He's always laughing though. I love him.
There you go, Paul. Put him on the one hand you can beat.
He just said no.
Nice move by Elton. Sipping whiskey with the nuts. Actually looks kind of strong maybe.
Sometimes these games don't feel real.
Yeah, I know.
You know that feeling?
They kind of can't, Yeah. That's the thing. Like, I've learned you just got to kind of turn it off.
Spread the pot.
What are you trying to represent? 4 kings?
First time I played with these guys was like three and a half years ago, and that was the first time I had to turn it off. I was just like, fuck it, man.
So one thing in this spot, maybe after thinking for a while, you decide that you want to just ship it in as a bluff. But Paul doing that whole acting thing where he's leaning back and doing that, he can never raise as a bluff there.
Have you ever seen anyone do it? I would think it would be the craziest move ever.
Yeah, I can't.
Sure, everyone's thought about it, but no one ever has actually done it, right?
Because it's too sick. It's too. Yeah, I guess. Hey, good call, Randy. I gotta.
Can you report to me and let me know if this works out?
No, I'm gonna make the final table of the short deck, and then I'm gonna set one up, and
I'm gonna be commentating on it.
Right.
And I'm gonna like, yeah, we talked about this.
Right, as I do it, I'm gonna say shout out to Randy, boom, all in, and I'll probably just do it with the nuts, though, to be honest.
I want to see it as a bluff, though. But the thing is, usually when that happens, they say it's usually the nuts, right? So.
Well, maybe I'll do it with an open ender, so it's like I'm bluffing, but it's pretty good. So.
So you're doing it on the turn to flop.
We'll see.
So Shanghai Wong is gonna open. This hand is not straddled actually, so I guess it was just one round of straddling.
Or maybe Shanghai Wong just decided to disagree with everyone and not straddle.
I don't think so, but yeah, it's possible.
I know the other day we were playing short deck with him, and we were playing it. If you win the hand with Jack 6 offsuit, you get paid 5 annies by everyone. And then after trying to bluff with it so many times, he just insisted we couldn't play it. So he is the type to
change
go
the rules
against
a little
grain.
bit.
Luckily, everyone agreed to drink wine with him to get the bounty back on. So he can be convinced with alcohol.
So is Jack 6 offsuit the worst hand in short deck?
Right, it's just...
and then 7-6 is next worst hand, or?
Well, it's like in Hold'em where at a full ring table, 7 deuce is the worst because you can't make the nuts, but 3-2 is like kind of, has a chance of making a hand.
Right, so that's the two equivalents, 7 deuce and 3
Right,
deuce.
where heads up, you want the Jack 6 instead of 6-7.
Fair enough.
Yeah, Paul.
Where can we watch this?
But yeah, they're really bad hands, and it's hard to win with them. But you also get dealt them a lot, so every time you're dealt it, you want to get in there and try.
Yeah,
to get
no,
the bounty.
I heard you guys were playing the bounties for 2 different hands. I was like, okay, what is this game?
Right,
You guys are
we just can't get enough action.
So Elton's going to raise the 14,000 of ace queen. Paul Flaw in the big blind of king 8 offsuit.
One more space.
It's kind of weird dynamic when the straddle drops. It goes from having these big pots and like kind of funny spots to the game seems small to them all of a sudden.
Yep.
So maybe we'll see more multi-way pots where
they
they realize, oh, 30K is not that much. I can call 14 with.
Usually what I see is in the straddle pots, those are always the ones where people want to fight for it because it's not happening all the time. It happens occasionally, so people just...
Right, people get in there.
Yeah.
We got the cigars coming out.
Lots of big hands. Lots of big hands today.
Just 3-bet.
I feel like Ivy's gonna keep playing pretty snug once he lights a cigar and kicks back. Like he's. I'm gonna be surprised if he starts splashing.
Well, Phil Ivy's down 301,000 right now. So he loses a little bit more. He might change his mind on that strategy.
Right, all of a sudden he's stuck for the week after winning the tournament.
Would you have that hand? Do I have to wait? Is queen? Shit.
Maximum value.
Yeah, you killed it.
Was ST just needling Jason there?
I didn't see that hand.
No,
but
he did the king's ace queen.
Oh, that one?
And then ST just said, yeah, maximum value, buddy. So ST's got a little attitude to him.
Shanghai Wong with ace king picks up a real hand, but I doubt he's going to get action.
You never know if Rui is going to 4-bet. You never know.
If there's one player to give him action, it's Rui.
Right. His style isn't to call and try to work it out later. He'll just he'll mash it sometimes. Not saying he should or he will, but
yeah, 66,000. You're just like, okay, take my 12,000 euros.
Right. Good job, Shanghai.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think it's bet.
Toji means bluff. If you hear him say that.
All right, learning new words. I know coffee. That's coffee, right?
What?
I thought he said cafe.
I wish I could speak more to
It seems like they're just drinking because he got 3-bet or something.
Every time you 3-bet, you have to drink. That's not a bad rule.
You can. But not now. Four more. Yeah. Okay.
So it looks like they missed a straddle.
Whoa, cigars.
No smoking. Oh, really?
Cigar's okay.
Oh, I saw somebody smoking over there. I thought it was okay.
Nice shot, Bill.
They did put ashtrays next to everyone, so
Yeah.
I don't know why they did that if they're going to have no smoking. That's pretty spewy. Light the cigar. Oops, can't smoke in here.
So Rui cow opens 26,000 ace 7 offsuit.
Elton, did he really limp ace 4?
Limped under the gun. But what if he's looking to limp re-raise? How sick would that be?
Maybe he did the sweat where you sweat your cards and it looks like aces, ace 4.
Yeah.
You ever do that where you're sweating and you get the ace little 4 peeks out?
Yeah.
And then
But when you look a little bit further, you get a little bit annoyed.
Other side doesn't work.
I think if you see that, you see the ace, you see the poking out, and then you limp no matter what, and then find out if you have aces once it gets back to you.
Alright, so
你咁樣擺佢 detect 唔到㗎，一定要咁樣擺係咪？
Is that so? It's the first limp we've seen, I think.
first limp that I've seen.
And Rui immediately just says no limping. 26.
Yeah, just gonna
No
fold
game, I
there.
believe.
Or maybe Rui does have that final table tomorrow, so maybe he's just trying to win a few more pots before he goes to sleep.
I mean, you can win more than first place in that final table. Just want to remind you that. He's already won 328,000. That's more than the min cash in that event.
That's yeah. First place so it's like
2.5 million US.
We need
And then
Tom
the
in
min
game.
cash is 250,000 US.
We need Rui in the game too. Oh, shit. We need Tom and Rui in the game.
Tom and Rui,
That's true.
action players.
Everyone should agree.
Oh, I wish they should. Someone should go over there and suggest a 7 deuce bounty game. That would be fun.
Yeah, Tom always has a way of kicking it up.
Up.
They might be playing 10K, 20K in like 40 minutes just because Tom convinces him somehow.
Alright, so Phil Ivy's calling with ace 10. Elton in the big
You
blind.
finally found your game.
Is he gonna call? Or is he gonna 3-bet?
Yeah.
Lose for 5 years. New game. Oh, I can win.
Elton's been pretty splashy so far, and yeah, he's grabbing chips.
I don't know if you just heard Paul telling Rui his father has a lot of money. There's kind of a joke lately. Whenever someone's losing, you say, "Where'd you get your money from? Where'd you get your money from?" And Rui's like, "Oh, my parents.
father.
For 5 years, I've been getting money from them, and then now that they're short deck, I don't have to ask them for money anymore." So Paul's getting a needle in.
You don't believe me.
I think Ivy folded.
I too much. How much you raise?
Nice move, Elton. Easy money.
That's not how I would play. Don't mind me saying because I
So I don't think these players are watching the hands. Am I correct about that? Do you know?
I heard some of them
wish
say,
I had
you know,
that
what
TV
was
right
on the
here.
stream, and I think maybe some of them walked out earlier to see the hand on the stream and then go back and check.
Okay, but they're not like knowing every single hand immediately. So there's some kind of still mystery of what your opponents have.
Yeah, and
But I'm pretty sure, I guess in the biggest pots, someone was going to go find out that
We
information.
can all see.
right.
That'd be funny.
Elton must know that about
That'd
the
be funny.
The set over set.
right. He must
We
know that.
all know how we're all playing.
Patrick's
We
in
can
the
all
pot here.
adjust.
Rui's opening 8-5 offsuit, undergun +1.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Okay.
Rui must know his time's up and Tom's taking his seat. So I'm pretty sure it's going on. He just has to get a few more spew.
Just
Actually, maybe that's
keep the game entertaining.
because I played too
Shanghai
many
Wong's
games.
gonna
It's
call
not good.
King 5 of clubs. Elton, I think he's gonna call with Jack 9 offsuit, the way he's been playing.
Next hand.
Yep.
Call. I'm scared of Patrick.
making a fool of.
Jason's coming along.
Jason Kuhn's got to come along here. So we got a multi-way pod. You've been asking for these.
Can't wait. I want to see a 7,
He
8,
also hides his secrets.
queen.
It's a big request. Let's see if you're right.
Oh.
Clink.
They've had a lot of drinks already, man.
Whiskey, 1, 2, 3.
King 10. Shanghai Wong.
Loving it.
Trip Kings. Probably expected to not have the King 2 when he's betting.
Rui can't help it.
Yeah, Rui's just going to bet into 5 players on King 10 like no one plays Broadways
Just
ever.
bet a third pot too. Which I mean, I really don't know why. There's
Seems a
so
little
many
splashy,
people.
right?
Why would they fold? You know,
They're not
queen
even
jack,
gonna fold
ace
gut
10,
shots,
ace jack-
right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Jack 9 probably should.
Sure, but like Ace Jack's not going to fold. Ace Queen's not going to fold.
All right, there's 3 of them in there. They can't all have a king, so
Statistically, not all of them can have a king is correct.
yeah. So Rui. Hey Rui, don't worry about that. Don't worry about the numbers. Just go for it, man.
Well, he's going to need an interesting card. Turn a pair of 8s. Still in last place. He got 0%. They both have 0%. So he makes the check. Antonius is going to check. Shanghai Wong. Like to see him bet here. He represent like Queen Jack, Ace Jack, Ace Queen, right? And he's got that image where
He can't be sure he has the best hand.
yeah, he can't be too sure. Do you kind of like betting and then checking back river, or like checking to induce bets instead? Like you're not looking to bet the turn and river, right? Like it seems a little bit ambitious with your kicker.
Right. I think Rui and Shanghai, though, they might have some.
Depend on the history.
Right, but Antonius, how can he continue?
Yeah, he should be very scared. The only reason he would continue is he thinks Shanghai Wong has been too crazy lately. He's been drinking.
Right.
But normally, this would be a safe fold.
Safe fold. Man, just the other day I had a hand where Shanghai, when we started drinking wine, I thought he was bluffing, shipped it in on him, and he had the nuts.
Everyone's tipping the dealer. This is great.
Yes, okay. I love you, Evan.
For 1K chips.
You make my girls happy.
Oh, yeah.
52
Cash, you know?
into.
It's a rainbow board, so you can't put someone on a flush draw.
That's HKD. It's even more.
I mean, if Antonius knows about the previous hands, it makes him want to call really bad.
Right, it's a good price.
Yeah.
You can see what's up.
In the end, okay?
Antonius here. And he's going to win the pot.
Yeah.
Straddle on the button.
Easy
Okay,
game.
straddle on the button.
Straddle on the button, you hearing this?
Can I?
I think you can.
Skip straddle. If
No, straddle, then you
everybody
act
fall,
first.
You straddle.
Oh, sleeper straddle.
Okay.
Skip
It's okay?
straddle. Skip straddle.
Sleep straddle?
Skip.
Skip.
Till everybody fall, you straddle. Someone raise.
No. Straddle, he acts first. Okay or no okay? You guys like it?
Wait.
Don't make it too crazy lah.
Sorry.
Huh? Don't make it. Huh?
You can straddle, but if everybody fall, you
No.
straddle.
It doesn't
If
work.
someone
Like
raise, you don't straddle.
that. No, it doesn't work like that.
That's called a sleeper straddle, right? I've never heard of it called a skip straddle. I think it's a
No,
chance
this
balls.
This is a very complicated straddle. It's not a sleeper straddle,
On
though.
the button.
Mississippi.
Isn't
They Paul
sleeper?
for-
Sleeper means it's live only if there's no action before it happens. Doesn't that mean sleeper?
Oh, that's right. You're originally from Vancouver.
That's a Paul Walsh. I think he just made that straddle
He
up.
made up the skip straddle, though.
Yeah, skip straddle. He's like, I'll just use another S word I can think of.
Right? He's like Montenegro. We call it skip.
Shanghai Wong's raising ace-4 offsuit.
What's it?
Oh, Ivy folded the 5 deuce. It's one of his most famous hands. I don't know if you remember that high stakes poker hand where he just
Yeah, it's
Like,
another one.
4 bet or 5 bets, 5-2 all in against Razzie.
Yeah, that, I remember that hand. I think he tries to forget the hand too. So Jason Kuhn 3-betting King Queen suited. I just thinks that Shanghai Wong is going to defend very loosely. So he's going to call with like dominated kings, dominated queens.
Make myself a fool.
Just got ace-4 high.
Get in there, Shanghai. Let's see your magic.
It's gonna make good fold.
So deep.
Good info for you, huh?
I knew it already.
Whoa, shows the ace. What a
Show he's got discipline.
right, but why does he want to show that? He's Shanghai Wong.
I think he's setting up something for about. Something's gonna happen in about 40 minutes.
Right.
No, one round. One more round.
Okay. We count one more round, you take it. Hey, this not mine, this is your tip. Huh? Hey, you mine? No?
So he got everyone to give a 1K chip, so you just take it.
Yeah,
Let's
we'll
text him.
count. We'll count VIP. Come on.
Okay, I leave. You take back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, ST.
Chow Ma is a very mean thing to say.
Yeah, let's not translate.
Moving on.
So seems that Tom Dwan will be coming into this game in a round, roughly. They're kind of choosing who's playing right now.
You want to change the color of your
Shanghai Wong can get excited.
The whole reason you let him play first was because he had to go to sleep because he was playing the tournament tomorrow.
喝多了，喝多了。
You have to leave.
Okay, no problem.
No,
I
Real Cal gets to stay.
I didn't mean it like that.
Real Cal is VIP. Come on.
Flip or something.
No, he don't leave.
Elton doesn't want Rui Kao to leave.
Yeah, I think
They have a voting system. He has no choice.
Then someone has to leave.
they should keep the action players.
Let me leave.
No, I think the action players should get to stay.
Right. I think ST and Jason. Sorry, guys.
I want to see. Everyone wants to see Duan play.
I was shocked that.
I'm pretty sure the chat's like, let Tom Duan sit right now. Take anyone off the game.
I was shocked Jason and
fair,
ST
man, for sure.
were sitting instead of Tom. Tom would show up for the game.
Yeah, no.
Tom likes to be late.
Sure. I'm not trying to like.
Yeah,
I'll
true.
flip
But
and
the poker world,
you
wants to see Tom in there splashing.
Yeah.
He knows how to entertain the people at home.
All right, so we got a 6-way pot. I don't even know how this is possible. They've done it.
Raise pot. Antonius.
So who flops? Okay, Ace Jack and Ace Queen's got two pair and one pair. They got so many hands. Can't even fit everyone.
So Antonius
Is the pre-flop raiser, and he's gonna bet Shanghai Won of Ace Queen. I like calling. I feel like when you raise, you let someone off the hook, like Antonius with Ace Jack.
I'd be shocked if he raised.
Yeah, so just call here.
It's so deep. It's not what you want to do this.
Yeah, and you still have like four people. Someone can have a big hand, right? Or if you got King Queen, you don't want him to fold. All right, so everyone's gonna fold, but these two players.
I look stupid on TV. That's why.
From the turn. Turns an 8.
What happened?
So it adds a backdoor flush draw. Antonius checks. I get the feeling he's not going to fold to a turn bet to Shanghai Wong because Shanghai could have like Queen 10 of clubs, right? And it might fire this part. But checks back the turn. That's very tricky. And it's punished here. So Rivers is straight. I would have liked to see him bet.
I guess Shanghai Wong, he can still do something tricky if he tries to.
Maybe he folds.
Like Antonius shouldn't have a jack as much as, like before he bets, he shouldn't have a jack that much.
Right, like who bets King Jack on the flop or Queen Jack?
Right. There's only the Ace Jack, and even then you have an ace, so it's not likely.
Well, Antonius is only betting 40,000. He's just trying to get Shanghai Wong to call with side 2 pair, basically.
Right.
I mean, the bet sizing is good. If you're playing against a player who just seems to want to see what you have.
But also maybe like it looks like king, so he can get this hand to raise him.
And that happens occasionally. The good part is he didn't bet big, where it's harder to get called.
4 cards straight out there.
8, 7, 9.
I think if Shanghai Wong really thinks about it, he should just remember this is a 6-way pot. Is Antonius really going to bluff the flop or this river? It just seems like he can't show up with like 7 high. It would just be ridiculous.
Right, and if he has kings or queens or aces, if he has a set, he's betting the turn like so much.
So if Shanghai Wong can have some discipline, I think he's going to make the fold. It's going to be a very good fold.
Shanghai.
I mean, Antonius knows he's got like 2 pair usually. Nice fold.
Thinking bet is very stupid.
Yeah, I guess the turn check, I can see where it makes sense in his head. Antonius has been tight, raising on the gun, everyone's in there, he c-bets.
Yeah, and it looks like Tom's trying to get in.
Up to you.
No, I think Rui Kao should stay.